Hello, good day. My name is Adebo, and I'll be taking you maths today. We did a class this morning by 10, and it was centered on geometry, where we specified in the sum of interior angles of polygons. We started solving some questions, and I said we'll look more into it today. Now, I told you that a polygon is a plane shape that has more than three sides. Any plane shape with more than three sides, with three or more sides, sorry, is a polygon. And then I listed examples of polygon, and then the polygons we listed were triangle, square, quadrilateral, where the square, the rectangles represented the quadrilateral, and the rest. Now, a polygon, like I said, is a plane shape that has three or more sides. Or any plane shape you've encountered with three or more sides is referred to as a polygon. So we'll be looking at, we'll be solving some questions on this polygon. Now, the sum, the theorem we treated was that the sum of interior angles of any n-sided polygon is equal to n minus 2 times 180 degrees, where n refers to the number of sides. Sum of interior angles. Now, from the word interior, it means the angle, the sum of angles inside any n-sided polygon is equal to n minus 2 times 180 degrees. In our prevalent classes, we talked about the sum of interior angles of a triangle, and then we ascertained the fact that the sum of interior angles in a triangle was 180 degrees. And then we solved so many questions in this respect. Then a bright student will be like, how did you get 180 degrees? Now, of course, math is very, very experimental. Math is very direct. Everything, every concept, every theorem in math has proof. So the number was not just, it was not just formulated, no. Now this 180 degrees, which is the sum of interior angles of a triangle, was gotten from this formula, n minus 2 multiplied by 180 degrees. Now, in case you don't know what n is, n refers to the number of sides. For instance, a triangle has three sides. So if you are finding the sum of interior angles of a triangle, you should know that n equals 3, because that's the number of sides. A rectangle is a quadrilateral. A rectangle is a quadrilateral and it has four sides. If you are solving in respect to a rectangle, you are finding the sum of interior angles inside a rectangle. It's equal to n minus 2 times 180 degrees, where n is equal to the number of sides also. Now, no matter the size of a shape, we can always find the total angles in the shape once we know the number of sides. No matter the size, be it 10, 20 sides. And once you know the number of sides of that particular shape, you can always find the total number of angles that are embedded in the shape. For now, once you know the number of sides, in this particular formula, n minus 2 times 180 degrees, the only unknown in this formula is n. Now, the number of sides. Once you know the number of sides, your equation is your problem is solved. I told you that in our previous class that the concept of these interior angles of n-sided polygons is that most times you'll be given a particular diagram, a shape, a polygon, and then first you'll be asked to identify this polygon. Now, after identifying the polygon, then you will be further asked to find the number of interior angles. Now, how do you identify a polygon? Now, polygons are distinguished firstly by their number of sides. What determines the name of a polygon is the number of sides. That's the first determinant. Now, the first thing you do to identify a polygon is to count the number of sides. Now, after you've ascertained the number of sides the polygon has, then you can look further and ask yourself what kind of polygon it is. You check the length of the sides and the rest, then you can further specify and give it a specific name. For instance, you should always know that a plane shape with three sides is called a triangle. Now, when it has three sides, you count the number of sides and you see it is 3, you know it's a triangle. But then we have different types of triangles. We have equilateral, we have isosceles, we have scalene types of triangles. Now, these types of triangles have distinct properties, but and that looking critically into the types of triangle. What I'm trying to say is when a plane shape is being presented to you, you are being given a plane shape. The first thing you do is count the number of sides to know what category it falls under. Now, by knowing the number of sides, you can be able to determine the sum of interior angles. Now, like I told you, we have different type of triangles, but every type of triangle, no matter the type of triangle it is, it will always have 180 degrees to be its sum of interior angles. Conversely or similarly, we have different types of quadrilaterals too. We have a kite, you have your parallelogram, you have your rhombus, you have your square, you have your rectangle. Now, all these are types of quadrilateral. Now, why is it called a quadrilateral? It is called a quadrilateral because it has four sides. Now, any plane shape with four sides is a quadrilateral. Now, no matter the type of quadrilateral it is, be it a rhombus, a square, a kite, in as much as it has four sides, the sum of interior angles is equal to 4 minus 2 times 180 degrees. That is 360 degrees for a quadrilateral. Now you see that by knowing the number of sides, we can be able, or we can actually perfectly determine the sum of interior angles. Now I want you to take note, sum of interior angles. Now interior, it has to do with the angles inside this plane shape. The angles that are embedded in this particular plane shape are referred to as the sum of interior angles. And like I said, no matter the size of a shape, we can always find the total angles in the shape once we know the number of sides, be it 20 sides, 40 sides, in as much as it has that number of sides and you can determine it, you can find the sum of interior angles, the number of angles that are inside. And here's an example. It says we should find the sum of interior angles of a decagon. Now, like I said, most times or mostly you'll be given a question to find the sum of interior angles of a diagram that is being given to you. But in this case, we're not given a diagram, we're given the name of a polygon. Now, decagon. The first thing you ask yourself is, what is a decagon? How many sides does the decagon have? Now, what is a decagon? A decagon is a plane shape. Like every other plane shape, it's a polygon because it has more than 3 sides. Now, a decagon has 10 sides, and that is the defining property. Now, the main thing you need to know when you are finding sum of interior angles is the number of sides. How many sides are in this polygon? Is it 4 sides? Is it 5 sides? Is it 6 sides? That is the defining property, because according to the formula, the only unknown is the number of sides. So once you know the number of sides, job done. The only thing you have to do is just to be very, very cautious and substitute your values perfectly. Now, like I said, a decagon has 10 sides. Therefore, n equals 10. Take note, n refers to the number of sides of a decagon. So a decagon has 10 sides. Therefore, n is equal to 10. Now, sum of interior angles of a decagon is equal to n minus 2 times 180 degrees. What is your n? That's the question you ask yourself. Now, we found out that a decagon has 10 sides, meaning our n is equal to 12. So now, our n is equal to 10. Now, this 10 minus 2 multiplied by 180 degrees gives you your sum of interior angles of a decagon. And 10 minus 2 is 8, multiplied by 180, it gives you 1440 degrees. Now, this is the sum of interior angle for a decagon. Now, the first thing I did was to identify the angle, or identify the number of sides in the shape, in the polygon. Now, we said it was the question told us it was a decagon. We had to ascertain that a decagon has 10 sides. Now, from knowing the number of sides in a decagon, we were able to solve by substituting n for 10, because I said n is equal to the number of sides. Now, number of sides minus 2 multiplied by 180 degrees gives you your sum of interior angles. Number of sides is 10 minus 2 times 180 degrees gives you your answer. Now, 10 minus 2 is 8. Now, this 8 multiplied by 180 degrees gives you 1440 degrees. Please take note when you are solving questions relating to degrees, always put your units. If you notice, you see that It was all written in unit 180 degrees, 80 degrees, and then our final answer was also in degrees. Now the unit helps us to know what you are finding. Without asking any further question, your marker will know that your answer, you were actually finding the angle if you would indicate it in degrees. So it's as easy as that. Now, secondly, find the sum of interior angles of the polygon below. Find the sum of interior angles of the polygon below. Now, like I told you, the first step in solving a question relating to a polygon is to identify the number of shapes of sides. Identify the shape. How can you identify the shape? You identify a shape by finding the number of sides. Now, for polygons, the distinguishing property, the specific property each polygon has, the first and most important specific property they have is the number of sides. Now, let's count. This is a polygon. How many sides does it have? It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sides. I'll count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, at times the side will be so many, like 10, 15, 11. Now, when you need to be very, very cautious while you are counting the number of sides, because once you miss the number of sides, then your whole answers will be wrong. Like I said, the number of sides is the most important property when you are considering the sum of interior angles of any n-sided polygon. So in counting the number of sides, you need to be very careful. I'll count again. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sides. Now, if it has 7 sides, it has 7 different angles. That's what it means. Now, the solution. The first thing to do is to identify the shape. Now, the shape above is a heptagon. Now, somebody will say, why? Why is it a heptagon? Now, the shape above is a heptagon because it has 7 sides. It has 7 sides. Therefore, n equals 7. I told you that n is equal to the number of sides, and we just identified this shape to be a heptagon with 7 sides. Now, what is the formula for finding the sum of interior angles of any n-sided polygon? We said it was n minus 2 multiplied by 180 degrees. N minus 2 multiplied by 180 degrees. Our n here is 7 minus 2 multiplied by 180 degrees. Now, 7 minus 2 gives us 5. Now, this 5 multiplied by 180 degrees gives us 900 degrees. I'll go over it again. The plane shape here is a polygon with how many sides? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The polygon has 7 sides. Now, it has 7 sides. Now, the shape above is a heptagon, like I told you, because it has 7 sides. Therefore, n equals to 7. You ask yourself, which plane shape has 7 sides? To name the shape, you ask yourself. I gave a list in our previous class of the plane shapes from 1 to 12 and their number of sides. You can actually search for more. I stopped at dodecagon, which is 12 sides. You can search for 11, for 13, 14, 15, 16 for your own comfort and for your own depth in the subject. So like I said, the sum of interior angles is n, number of sides minus 2 times 180 degrees. Our number of sides is equal to 7 minus 2 multiplied by 180 degrees. Now, what's 7 minus 2? 7 minus 2 gives you 5 multiplied by 180 degrees. Now, 5 multiplied by 180 degrees gives you 900 degrees. Now, 900 degrees is equal to what? The sum of interior angles of this polygon. It means a heptagon. Any polygon with 7 sides, no matter how it is being drawn, has 900 degrees as its total sum of interior angles. Now, sum of interior angles, what does it mean? It means if you add all the angles, add up all the angles in this polygon, it will give you 900 degrees. So the sum of interior angles of a heptagon is 900 degrees. Now, this question is a little bit different from the rest. It says, this is example 3, the sum of interior angles of a polygon, the sum of interior angles, sorry, okay, I said the sum of interior angles of a polygon. Now, the polygon that was given They said the sum of its interior angles is 1260 degrees. Now, what is the number of sides of this polygon, and also what is the number of the name of the polygon? Now, since sum of interior angles is equals to n minus 2 times 180 degrees, that's what we've been doing, and sum of interior angles is equal to, of the polygon is equal to 1260 degrees. It means, now let me go over it again. The sum of interior angle of this polygon is 1260 degrees, and we have that sum of interior angles is equal to n minus 2 times 180 degrees. Now, this is the formula for finding sum of interior angles. Now, if this is actually the formula for finding sum of interior angles, this one that was bolded, it means that what? If you equate sum of interior angles equals sum of interior angles, so n minus 2 times 183 degrees, 180 degrees is equal to what? 1260 degrees. You get? So now, in that way, you'll be able to find your n. Now, let's go. N minus 2 times 180 degrees is equal to sum of interior angles. And they say the sum of interior angles of this triangle is 1260 degrees. Now, n minus 2, when you divide both sides by 180, becomes 1260 degrees divided by 180 degrees. Now, 1260 divided by 180 degrees gives you 7. So n minus 2 is equal to 7. Now, n becomes 7 plus 2. N equals 9. So now, therefore, the shape has 9 sides. Now, which shape has 9 sides? You ask yourself. The shape with 9 sides is called a pentagon. So you see, we've answered this question. We found n, and we found that n is a pentagon. Now, lastly, the last example for the day. It says a plane shape has 12 sides. Find the sum of interior angles of that shape. A plane shape has 4 sides. Has 12 sides, sorry. Now find the sum of interior angles of a plane shape with 4 sides. Now n equals to number of sides. Now sum of interior angles, this is direct, similar to the ones we've solved. N equals to 12. So it is 12 minus 2 times 180 degrees. 12 minus 2 is 10 times 180 degrees. Now 10 multiplied by 180 degrees will give you 1800 degrees. Now 1800 degrees is the answer. A plane shape with 12 sides has 1800 degrees as a sum of interior angles. Meaning any plane shape that has 12 sides, if you sum up everything, all the angles in it, it will give you 1800 degrees. Now, this is the assignment for today. And this question was coined from WAEC 2010. It says in the diagram, PT equals 4 centimeter, TS equals to 6 centimeter, PQ is 6 centimeter, and SPR equals 30 degrees. Calculate correct to the nearest whole number. Calculate correct to the nearest whole number, the line SQ. Now, this is the second question. A, in angle PQS, line PQ equals 12 and PS equals 5 cm. Now SPQ equals SKR equals 90 degrees. Find correct to 3 significant figures. The line PR. PR. We are finding line PR in this particular question. In this other question, you are finding SQ. SR, sorry. You are finding SR in the prevalent one, and then in the one that follows, you are finding line PR. So today, what we treated was geometry, theorem 3, interior angles of n-sided polygon. Now we started talking about it in the previous class, and then I told you that the formula for this question is n minus 2 times 180 degrees, sum of interior angles. And I said no matter how large a shape is, or no matter the size and how many shapes, how many sides it has, you can always determine the sum of interior angles when you know the number of sides. Now we solve this to find that of a decagon. We said a decagon had 10 sides. So sum of interior angles is 10 minus 2, which is 8 times 180 degrees. And that gave us 1440 degrees for a decagon, 10 sides. I told you if you are given a shape, the first thing to do is to count the number of sides. By counting the number of sides, you can ascertain and know the type of shape it is. Now we counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and a plane shape with 7 sides is called a heptagon. A heptagon has 7 sides. Now, by counting the number of sides, we're able to identify the shape, and we said its name was a heptagon, 7 sides, and 7 minus 2 gave us 5 times 180 degrees was 900 degrees. We went further to solve a more complex question. Say the sum of interior angle was given, but then we are asked to find the number of sides. And I told you that since sum of interior angles is equal to n minus 2 times 180 degrees, and sum of interior angle of this particular triangle, of this particular polygon, sorry, is 1260 degrees, then we'll have to solve by saying 1260 degrees, which is the sum of interior angles of this triangle, is equal to the formulae for finding sum of interior angles. Now, the sum of interior angles of this particular question is equal to the formulae for finding sum of interior angles. Now, n minus 2 was equal to 1260 divided by 180. Now, that was by dividing both sides. Now, n minus 2 gave us 7. N was 7 plus 2, which is 9. And I said, therefore, the plane shape is a pentagon because it has 9 sides. Now, sorry, 9 side is actually a nonagon. So the plane shape is a nonagon, sorry. It was an oversight. So this plane shape is a nonagon because it has 9 sides. So we went further to solve the last example. We had to find the sum of interior angles of a plane shape with 12 sides, and then we solved 12 minus 2 times 180 degrees gave us 10 times 180 degrees, which was 1800 degrees. And then we were given an assignment. The assignment should be submitted on the WhatsApp group, please, before 11 p.m. today. Thank you and God bless you. Please ensure you stay tuned to most of our Zoom classes. And if you're watching this video online, please, I would love you to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos. Thank you and God bless you. My name is still Smith Adebo. Please stay tuned for most of our classes.